Hey guys, Sean Scott. And I want you to think with me for a few minutes. Just think with me. What would you think of me if I, as a father, with a desire to either reward my child or kill my child, which simply because I'm contemplating killing my child, that's bad enough. But let's say not only am I going to kill my child if he or she doesn't pass this test, but I'm going to kill them for an eternity. It'll never stop. I'll kill them every day, every minute, every second. I hope by now you're thinking to yourself that me as a father, to even have those thoughts, that type of thought, I'm terrible. You should already be thinking, I'm a horrible father. I'm not worthy to be called a father if my contemplation is reward or death repeatedly forever. Now, here's a test. I'm going to put two doors in front of you. One of those doors, I take that back. I'm going to put 4,000 doors in front of you. Of course, all 4,000 can't be in front of you, but I'm playing God right now. 4,000 different religions, probably more than that. I'm going to expose you to them all. One of them, only one out of the 4,000, is the right door, and it contains eternal life. All of the other ones, if you choose one of them, you're going to die over and over again forever. That's the most wicked thing that I can possibly think of. Eternal torture. That means you could never escape it. Do we agree that the proposition in and of itself is tyrannical? Do we agree that there is an unfair dynamic going on within the proposition that will dramatically lessen the likelihood of the child getting it right? So there is a strong, strong, strong possibility they're going to get it wrong. And they're going to suffer for an eternity for it. And to add insult to injury, also what I'll do, as you can see, I transitioned from natural father to God father, biblical God. I'm going to create an enemy named Satan. He's going to be way more powerful than you. He's able to deceive even my elect. I'm going to allow him to abuse you, deceive you, trick you. You're going to think you're doing the right thing from your heart, from your mind. You believe that you're making the right choice. And then at that day, when it's time to judge you, you know what I'm going to tell you? When you come to me and say, you did many miracles in my name. You cast out demons. You healed the sick. You fed the poor. You preached the gospel to the four corners of the earth. Oh, I got you with that one too. The world is not flat. There's no four corners. The world is a sphere. It's round. But I'm going to allow this enemy to tear you apart. So on top of having to choose the right door out of 4,000 of them, because it's about 4,000 different religions, I'm also going to put in your way an enemy who knows how to trick. And with all of that, you still better get it right. I'm going to author a book It's going to be a whole bunch of books, but 66 of them, I'll let that, that's going to be it. I'm not going to allow anyone to find the originals to know if originals ever existed. I'm going to make sure that it's translated over and over and over again. Things are added to, that there's no evidence. There's nothing for you to look at and say, haha, this is really my word. This is God's word. I am going to cause such confusion even within the Christian denominations, within the Christian religion, and they will, out of those religions will come denominations, many hundreds of them, if not more. It is going to be utterly almost impossible for you to pick the right door. I'm going to make sure that there are people also on earth that's going to tell you, pick door number 1, pick door number 2, pick door number 252, pick door number 4002, pick door number 42, pick door number 73, pick door number 11, and they're going to just drill in you that, no, this is the door. And you still better get it right. Because if you don't, I'm going to punish you for an eternity. Thinking Christian, please, please, please. Explain to me why you would want such a God to be true and really exist, when that is basically the proposition that is offered unethically, masquerading as the good news or gospel, which says if you believe in your heart that God rose Jesus from the dead, that you will not perish, you'll have everlasting life. If you believe. What happens if you don't believe? You're dead. As a matter of fact, you're already dead. The Bible says you're damned already, because you did not accept the gospel. But God, there's 4,000 doors. I want to accept the gospel, but when I read it, and it says, these signs shall follow them that believe. And when I look at them that believe, even myself as a believer, these signs do not follow. When your book says you'll know them by their works, your church and their works, they're non-religious, secular, heathen people that do more good without asking anything in return, not trying to get church membership, not trying to get tithes, not trying to proselytize or convert, but helping and doing good works. How do I know that I got it right? I want to know with everything that's within me. And then your messengers, when I ask of them to give a reason to the hope that's within them, they damn me to hell because they say I'm questioning who you are. The church gave Thomas a bad name and called him Doubting Thomas. But here's something that the church didn't teach. When Thomas said, I won't believe it unless I can put my fingers in the hole, he was thinking like a smart man. And Jesus in the story did not say you're going to burn for an eternity because you don't believe. He said, behold, look, put your finger in my side, thrust it. Don't doubt, but believe. So he provided the proof to Thomas, and Thomas said, my Lord and my God. This is just a story, people. I can tell it because I know it. I know it intimately. But now I know it for what it is. Stories. What you would tell me is that God's foolishness is wiser than man and his weakness is stronger than men. and to lean not on my own understanding, but in all my ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct my paths. Lean not on my own understanding. When I say one of the commandments was thou shalt not kill, but the same God that issued that commandment sent his children out to kill and murder everyone that he pointed to. I don't like them, murder them, kill the children, kill the cattle, kill everybody, but keep the virgins for yourself. Now, I wonder what they were going to do with them virgins. You still don't believe a man wrote this? Men? How about Islam? What is the promise? At least one of them, too. Notice, to the men. How many virgins? 12 of them? Something like that. Ooh, virgins. They will kill themselves so they can get 12 virgins. My Muslim friend, you can have 12 virgins right now in your own city. You do not have to blow yourself up in other people. Examine your book for what it is. A book written by men with an agenda to control you, to have you at war, but docile at the same time, because it is a benefit for those who are in leadership positions in this masquerade called religion. It benefits them because they're the ones receiving the spoils, so to speak. That's why they can tell you God spoke to me and told me to tell y'all, you, the hard worker, pay for my Bentley, pay for my plane. I know some of you are going to say, you know what, I agree with you. You're right. They're out there. No, I'm talking about you too. I understand that there's reformed believers as well, because I went from charismatic to reformed as well. But the predestination proposition in and of itself is just as wicked as the first analogy that I gave. Predestination asserts that God has already chosen who's going to heaven and who's going to hell. And it doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter what I'm saying right now. It doesn't matter what you believe. And you don't know if it's you or me. What? Most of you are behaving like punk sissies. What do I mean? I mean that if that God exists, I'm telling you this, and if that God exists, he hears me and he knows I mean what I'm saying. But I'll stand my ground and say I'll never serve that type of God. You're going to have to show me that you care about me enough to make yourself plain so that your child who you love won't pick the wrong door. There are people scared, man. Somebody listening to this video, you think you going to hell. But you have no idea that hell itself, just like heaven, is an invention from the mind of men. I dare anyone to show supporting evidence that that's not true. But you can do your own research and find where these concepts came from. Christianity is a younger religion. Its beliefs is a combination of many other religions and pagan rituals and practices. Primarily Judaism is where Christianity and Islam got its foundational beliefs to a certain degree. They all believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It is only the Christians that move beyond and say, oh yeah, God's son, Jesus. No mother, because remember, religion hates women. So women will always have no part in any type of redemptive plan of significance. They will be scrutinized the most. Genesis, the God of the Bible, curse the serpent, curse the woman, but curse the ground for the man's sake. Yeah. In the Gospels, when the woman was caught in the very act of adultery, they said the law says that she is supposed to be stoned to death. Why is it that the woman is supposed to be killed? What about the man? Women, examine these religious doctrines. Why are you not included? Why are you still fighting for your rights right now just to be considered equal, to get paid the same, to be treated as an equal? It is religious minds and is religion based. Anywhere in the world where women are depressed, I don't care where they at. Tell me I'm lying. I'll show you a religious connotation, an underlying religious ideology that's responsible for a man's decision to tell a woman that she has to wrap herself up and she cannot show anything but her eyes. Who the hell do you think you are? I hope women get up everywhere and rebel and say, no, we're just as important and you're not going to tell us what to do. Who do you think you are? Then the man will say, well, who God said I am, because he says I am God. And the man is the head of the home. As Christ is to the church, so as the husband is to his household. And as a matter of fact, part of your curse, young lady, is that your desire shall be unto your husband. Well, what if she ain't married? Who's her desire unto at that point? He shall rule over you. Men wrote this, ladies. Don't fall for the okie doke. Put those words to the test. These signs shall follow them that believe. Bull crap. Bull crap. I just said it. You're sitting in church every Sunday, every whenever. You're praying, you're fasting, you're doing all that you know to do. Ain't no dead being raised. Ain't no diseases leaving. No cripples are walking. I'm talking about medical verification, where you can fact check to find out if someone is really healed, and then the process repeated, where you can come up with a ratio. People has already been done. Intercessory prayer has been put to the test, and it is no different from chance. You already know that, but you tell yourself, like I used to do, well, you know what, God is just tarrying. He's going to answer my prayers. Matter of fact, maybe he did. Let me think. Where am I missing it? And you start to get on yourself because you think if you're not seeing the so-called promises of God, and most of the promises that people talk about is nowhere in the Bible, I'm talking about these signs shall follow them that believe. Where are the signs and wonders? Don't tell me YouTube. That's fake. Identifiable miracles. They're not happening. Spontaneous healing is something that happens. People have tumors and tumors just leave. That's the body. That's biology. It is what it is. Healthy people out of nowhere will die. Drop dead. But there's a reason. And when you examine through medical science, the reason presents itself. This is what happened. We don't know why, but this is what happened. When we talk about the earth and the universe, all of the planets and the stardust, and how everything that we're made up of, everything that we are made up of is in direct correlation to what's in space. The more we explore space, the more answers we can get to the questions that we have concerning life here. I didn't know that, man. I didn't realize how important NASA is. I used to say stuff like, we spend billions of dollars a year, if not more, on space exploration, and we have all these problems here on the Earth. That seems like a waste of money. I was ignorant. The answer is in education, man. Ignorant people, I'm not talking about ABC 1, 2, 3. I'm talking about concerning your religion or your faith. The answer is in educating yourself, not just on your religion, but opposing views. Look at the world for what it is. Stop playing make-believe. Study the brain, study the mind, study the placebo effect. Study what other people believed, even in your faith many years ago. That's changed now. They believe differently. Y'all remember the Jesus talking in the New Testament, and he had a problem when they were arguing about washing their hands and stuff like that, eating without washing your hands. Jesus said, it's not what goes into a man's mouth that defiles him, but what comes out of his mouth, because out of his mouth or out of the heart flows the issues of life. You know, all the evil things and all that stuff that comes out of his heart, whatever. I get that. But why didn't Jesus address that? But concerning what goes in your mouth, it is pretty smart. You know, they didn't have penicillin and all that stuff back then. Wash your hands, because you can actually die. People were dying for stuff that we can go to Walgreens and cure. Diarrhea. Dehydrated and killed people. They didn't understand it. They used to call it demons. Leprosy. You can read it in the Bible yourself. Wait, you have individuals who assume that some sin or some spirit is responsible. But we have answers to that now. That's why we see less and less of chicken pox and mumps and measles, and because of vaccinations that I used to be, the only reason why I was against vaccinations, not because I did research and I knew better, is because I listened to conspiracy theorists who said the government is out to get us. That does not mean that the government has not done things. The government has done things to black people in particular throughout the history of this country. Made laws specifically to keep people like me a slave. Historical facts included in the Constitution. You want to eradicate slavery? Okay. Well, we'll come up with some Jim Crow laws, and we will put people in jail for loitering. We'll put black people in jail for the smallest things possible, because written in the Constitution basically says this: if they go to prison, then they will be slaves once again. If you don't know that, shame on you, because you feel that other things are more important. All right. I'm going to stop because I can go on and on and on. But I really want to be a voice of reason, man, especially for black people. For all you people who's scared to call, color what color is. There's nothing wrong with that. Stop falling for the propaganda. I care about humanity. But there is a special place for people that look like me, because we have a unique situation. Your name is Bob and John and Tom, and you have a history that you can trace connected to that name. My name is Sean Scott. I believe I'm from West Africa, somewhere around Senegal or Mali, is what my African brothers tell me. Sean Scott is not an African name. So I, as a black man, have a unique experience in America. My experience is different from others. So I say this to anybody who looks like me or is black, African American, whatever the heck you want to call it. You need to do some serious studying, excuse me, if you are a Christian or contemplating being a Christian. Here's what you should study. How did black people become Christian in America? And what were they before they became Christian? And who they were before, what they believed before, is no indication that what they believed before is or was true. But it is an indication that at some point between us being in Africa and then taking from there here, we have a whole different belief system, a different names, language, everything, total assimilation to the place that most black people, in my experience, don't want anything to do with Africa. And that's their home. Scientifically is all of our home. Education, man. The Bible wants you to be stupid. Oh, you don't believe that? I just said education. Some person who thinks they're spiritual out there said, no, don't trust in man, trust in God. What does that mean? What do you think people have been doing? They've been trying to communicate with a God or whoever. There is no answer. All we have is our reality, and we have to live. But the danger with faith and religion is the forcing it down the throats of others, even legislating. Georgia just passed a law. Women can't get abortions anymore once they realize that they're pregnant. I think it's 6 weeks or something like that. Done. Even though lack of education. It's a fetus. A fetus and a human being are two different. I tell you. Learn, man. Don't be ignorant forever. And don't feel bad when people try to make you feel a certain way because you choose to live in reality. They're living in reality too. But they just, when it comes to logical reasoning, they abandon it when it comes to love and religion. Because love will have you doing some stupid stuff totally against your logical reasoning. And religion, obviously, requires you. That is a requirement. You got to understand this. Don't fall for the tricky words. Watch this. God just wants you to take a leap of faith. He just wants you to take a leap of faith. God is not concerned with the things that people think God is concerned with. God is concerned with your faith. You might think it's money, but it's not money, my friend. God is concerned with your faith. So when you extend that seed, that money, it is an extension from you to God saying, I trust you. Boy, look, I wouldn't do my voice like that. But if I was wicked like some of you out there, lying to people, taking them for everything that they got, destroying them emotionally, if I was as wicked as you, I have a mega church. Because I understand how it works. I was part of it. It's all propaganda. Every mega fest, every conference, every believers, every tent revival, all of it. Some people mean well and they just were brought up in a church culture and they just regurgitate what they've been taught. But then there's a select few that know what they're saying is a lie. They know the truth, but they're in positions of power and they're not ready to get up off that bread, period, in that power. For those who don't know what bread is, I ain't talking manna, that's money. Think with me. Let's think, people.